In this video, we're going to learn how to use Proc Univariate to summarize data in SAS. So Proc Univariate is, a slightly more sophisticated, statistically sophisticated version of Proc means. You get more things out of it, more statistics, more summary statistics, and you can also request some plots. So that's what I'm going to be doing here in this particular program. So Proc Univariate, my data is the same data set that I was working with before, the work body fat data set. I want to analyze the variable body fat, see what summary statistics Proc Univariate will give me, and I want a histogram. We have seen the histogram before when we were dealing with summarizing data with point and click type of tasks. I want a histogram of the body fat percentage for the whole data set. Here I'm not splitting the data by groups yet. So run it. Takes a little while because it has to do a lot of computations. So we get this table moments, basically the standard deviation, the mean, the skewness. This tells you whether the data, your data is right skewed or left skewed. You have some other statistics like the variance, which is the square of the standard deviation, kurtosis, which is related to the shape of the distribution, coefficient of variation, standard error of the mean. So many statistical summaries which are useful for statistical analysis. Have the mean, median, and mode of the group of the data set, variability, standard deviation. So it repeats some of the things that we saw here, the range, the interquartile range. Now this is some statistical test for the location, the mean of the distribution. It's telling, it's testing whether it is 0 or not. Well, you don't really have to worry too much about that. The quantiles, percentiles, of the data. This is more useful for, for statistics than for anything. But as I said in the previous video, SAS, the main use of SAS is to ultimately do statistical analysis after you have done all the data manipulation with the data that you have at hand. It also tells you what the extreme observations are. So 0.7 is extremely low, and it tells you it's observation 172. So if you want to go back to the data set and retrieve it, and the maximum value, is 47.5, which is observation 216, and so on. And then it gives you a histogram of the body fat percentage. Okay, so that's what you can get. You can get more things with Proc Univariate. It has a lot of options, but this is just the basics. Now I want to show you that you can also break down the analysis by group, by a character variable, in this case age group. Let's say that we want to compare the statistics and the histograms for the data, for the body fat percentage data for these two groups, 20 to 40 and older than 40. So you just have to include the class statement, just like in the proc means. Let's run this and see what we get. Takes a little while. It's doing a lot of work. So yeah, okay, so now here we get the same statistics that we got previously, but broken by group. So now this is for age 20 to 40. We have the mean, standard deviation, all this metrics, okay? And then we have the same thing for the group older than 40, mean, standard deviation, skewness, kurtosis, the quantiles, all of that, extreme observations inside that group. And then we get a comparison between the histograms, right? You can see that people in the age group 20 to 40, on average, they have lower body fat percentage. The distribution is confined between 0 and, let's say, 32.5, 33, or 34, right? And then for the older than 40, we have, a bigger variability, bigger spread of the distribution. So, yep, that's how you can use this to compare groups. So basically, the Proc Univariate is a more sophisticated version of Proc means. It gives you a more statistically sophisticated summary